course, we can thank the ultimate hype man. I'm sure all of you know his energy. um, that's gonna be hard to one up you. I usually lower the standards, and this guy just put it all the way up. But yes, I'm here from LA with the all the online families. These two actually were from two different online families, and now they're semi besties. But yeah, sir, I don't know. I feel like we just bleed servant leadership at this point, but it's like, what is this buzzword? What is this hashtag? What is this high ranking Google term? I was thinking about it and I was jotting all these notes over the past couple days as like as to what it means to me or what it could be or what would be a relatable definition. And I'm like, no, actually, screw all that because to me, what it means, like from the deep depths of my soul, is not a set of hard skills that we acquire or the things that we think about who we want to be, the traits that we want to acquire when we're aspiring. It's more like a set of things that we already are, that we already do for ourselves, and more expanding and evolving and just growing from that. Because how do we really lead people with all the genius zones that we have, with all the credentials that we have? These are the ultimate genius zones and the pieces and parts of our passions that we're just so natural that we flow in are typically things that started as a seed we practice with ourselves. These are how do we lead ourselves is the actual question for me. So my version of servant leadership is all the tried and true, failing forward, diving in blind, all the mistakes I've made, all of the curiosity didn't kill the cat but made the cat bigger, stronger, have a louder roar. That's what it is to me. But I always ask, like, okay, when people aspire, like when we are sitting there aspiring, dreaming rather, it's too easy to just fall onto this maybe train of thought where it's okay, I need this, or there's so many like prerequisites in front of us. Okay, I need this and this XYZ, whether it's like physical, okay, I gotta shape my mane so I can look more professional. I gotta rebrand myself, whatever aesthetic this is. I gotta rebrand my social digital aesthetic. It's all these surface, very 3D things. And then also like the skills. Okay, I gotta find this kind of coach. I gotta follow this kind of influencer so I can pick and choose and get influence and maybe be like that person. But it's so many things when we aspire that come to mind, even like subconsciously, that are not that are outside of ourselves. And so when it comes to servant leadership, this the buzzword that really has so much true, real, raw meaning. It's like, okay, I'd rather hold like a mirror, look in the mirror and be like, how do I lead myself? How have all of you led yourself? Not to just where, coming into this space today, but to who you have become, who you've evolved into today. And so that was pretty much the meat of the message, which I don't know, I feel like a lot of it is self-inquisition. Um, my ADHD brain, because this guy walked. But yeah, it's I don't know. Even with the other aspects and compartments of my life, like spirituality, entrepreneurship, creative strategy, working with other brand owners, and the super woo woo side of things. It's funny because consistently, one pattern I see along with servant leadership is like, how deeply can we start with ourselves, like the self inquisition? Because maybe once upon a time, before getting into becoming a super self development nerd, it was just so easy to look outside, like, oh my god, how where do you get all this energy? Like, how do I be like that? I can't be like that. Maybe I can fake it for a little bit, but I'll probably last 2 hours if I do that. Or Thierry's like consistency. Like, how do you just wake up and just have this discipline? Maybe, I'm trying. It's like a fitting room of all these personalities that I just am not. Maybe we can try it on, but that fitting room is still important because it's a way, it's parts of the process for us to find out, okay, this doesn't work. This isn't consistent with my human design, my star sign, my energy level, and how it moves. And so, again, coming back to the servant leadership is, how have I been in service to myself? How have I led myself? And the other aspect of it that is a really, really big part of it for me is being a forever student of life. So it's like, as you know, I have reached a point where I've had that like humility, or I'm just humble to the point where I can't, like, I'm almost invisible. So the service part of it is important, but also recognize yourself. Again, we need to look in the mirror in both the shadow work and the light work, the recognition. There is a balance for everything. There's also an extreme for everything. And on the leadership part, it's like, how do we maintain the humility? On the service part, it's really hard if you're like extremely humble, or if you've been told to be quiet or sit down, to actually recognize that you are leading, you are taking up space, my voice is filling up a room, even. Oh, yeah. I probably have to hold the mic like right here for you guys to hear me. No, it's all good. This is also going to be recorded, so for bits and pieces that people come in and out, or if anyone here is also neurospicy and zoned out for a bit, we'll have something to to watch later on. Maybe like put me on 2x speed or something. But yeah, the student aspect of it is, as and these aren't compartmentalized parts of ourselves either. As a servant leader, it's like, it's this package, and the ratios like move, some expand and contract, like your student quote unquote version of yourself, the service part, the leadership part, ego will expand and contract depending on the phases of your life, what you're leading, what projects you are facing, what relationships as well. Like these, I don't know. I don't really see it as like a business life and personal life. It's so, even spiritual. Like, I can't separate it. I've tried to be in this mode and that mode, and I'm just like, I can't. I'll be in a boardroom and I'll maybe touch on something like energetic or spiritual. I'll be in like a yoga place, and then maybe I might nerd out on business a little bit. It's just like, these are, like I said, we like bleed this, but no matter how far into the service part of it or the leadership part of it, we are a student the entire time, before, during, after, even after, with accolades behind us, credentials behind us. Um, I'm still a student with, I mean, I look at my own portfolio, I look at my own resume, and I'm like, who is this person? I'm over here just chilling, like, I'm here, I'm laid back, I'm cool. And this fool reminds me of everything I've done, and I'm like, oh yeah. And so, it is nice to achieve these things, but before I really embrace the servant leadership, this is why I have often forgotten what I've achieved, because I achieved them just for the sake of what? Clout, just for the sake of a stamp, being able to put something on a website, and then it became forgettable. And that's where the student part of me came in, because other people are reminding me of what I've achieved and forgotten. And it's just like, okay, I'm still a student at that point, even having led this, even having founded this, even having launched this, because that observation in itself, like, wow, like, why that self-inquisition. Now I'm serving myself by allowing myself to question, but I'm also leading myself in, guiding myself through this, kind of like a self hypnotherapy in a way, a self coaching, in a way. It's like, okay, these are the questions that are unfolding. Why? Until I can't ask why anymore. And we all think there's a specific name for that process, but you know what I mean. Yeah. So the student, forever student part of it never ends. And the service, as long as you are also including yourself in the picture of, when you think of leading, when you think of, growing, when you think of this vision, this project, the audience, the community. I do have a creative strategist background, and we would go so far into the audience, the personas, and the community, to the point where the founders I'm working with, I'm like, okay, but like, what about you? All of this is for you as well. So it's like, when we think of service, it's not like, we are part of it too. Like, this guy gives and gives and gives, but in a way, it is serving him. It's a way for him to move the energy and feel that like fulfillment. It's not just like, we're not just bleeding him dry and enjoying everything he's giving. Like, it makes him feel alive as well. And that's part of it for me. It's like, it's not that I don't want to get rusty, but it's like, gives me life as well. Like it's like I have no oxygen if I go too long without serving or getting creative or having like a creative jam and nerding out about visioning is what I call it. I do identify as visionist, so it's just like I can't breathe. This is why I say we bleed. We're such nerds in this space. But yeah, those are all my neurospicy versions with 83 different concepts and the same message, but with a lot of different words. Just my version of what it means to me. But I do want to close with a little snack, a little meditative snack. At this part, you can close your eyes or just lower your gaze, basically like relax. You can choose a focal point that helps people. If it strains your brain, you're like, oh my God, this chair is so red. You can close your eyes, lower your gaze, just basically relax what it is you're looking at or not looking at. Just become aware of yourself, this person, this vessel that we are borrowing. Become aware of what you're sitting on, the space that we're in, and just slowly, slowly, don't forget to breathe at whatever pace is comfortable for you. Expand your awareness to, the city that you're in. Expand your awareness, continuing to expand your awareness to the region, the island, the country, the continent, eventually to the whole earth collective. And don't forget to breathe, keep breathing. The earth is spinning. Maybe a day goes by, you see the globe spin, maybe a week, a little bit faster, maybe all the way fast forward 2 years, and then it's right there in 2027. You can start narrowing your awareness back, bring it back to the piece of land you're on, that we are an honored guest of, the country, the city, and that part of you in the future in 2027. You are fully in this, in your form, in your vessel. And we'll leave off with the question, who are you? I'll let you breathe with that and come back to the space, back to the present. Is there much of a difference with who you are 2 years from now? I don't know. But thank you, everyone, for having me. I can't wait to see this grow. I've been excited to watch this from day one, from the little hotel lobby. I can't wait to see this go to Dubai. And here we are.